Hello there and welcome back to my workshop. This is show number 2 on my making of a box with till. Last time I made a small test box just for some practice, and since then I've applied a finish to it, so let's check it out here. There it is. I put some milk paint on the top and the sides and a very thin wash coat of polyurethane or wiping varnish all the way around. And that brings out the color and also the figure of the wood. I really like that look a lot. And I've used it before, actually. Here's an example. This is a Japanese toolbox I made a few years ago. Same color scheme here, as you can see. And if that's not enough, let me show you this. This is a chest of drawers I made a few years ago, and again with the paint, and in this case a figured maple. So I like that look a lot, but this is going to be a little bit different. The larger box I'm making is going to be made out of cherry, and here's the species of wood I'm going to be using. It's easily carved, they tell me, and readily available here in the US. So we're going to be using that, and frequently on boxes like this, they very often used ornamental carvings and that kind of stuff. So I'm not a carver, but I happen to know a very skillful woodworker and carver named Clint. He has a channel called Clint Rose Carving. So I contacted him and said, what if you do some chip carving on the front and I'll make the rest of the box and we can do sort of a collaborative type thing. And he said, sure, send it on over and he'll get to work on it. So let me show you an example of the kind of stuff he does actually. That's what Clint made here. Just amazing. That's not me, is it? Okay. Anyway, let's see here. This is the front. This is the part he's going to be carving. He's going to do some kind of chip carving here. And I've already carved out the grooves for the till, and I have for the joinery here the dados. So that goes off to him. I'm going to ship that off to him right away. In the meantime, I'm going to be working on the back of the box. It's going to have a pencil hinge. You saw that in show number 1. And also a rabbet here. And I've marked out the till. So I'm going to be cutting out the grooves for the till. And then I'm going to be doing the exact same thing over here with the hinge. So let's get started. Okay, a whole lot of chopping going on here. Let's have a look at where we are. These are stopped grooves here and here, and this is an open one here. Now my router plane needs an open area to start from, so what I've done is I have chopped out this area here to its final depth, and now I have access for my plane to get in here and also to come in from here. So I think this will make more sense as we go. Let's get started. Okay. A little rough, but we got there.
Yeah.
And it's a new day. Next up, I have to make the same rabbet and peg that I have on this end over here. So I've already notched my cut line for my saw, and now we're just going to go ahead and saw that to depth. Ready? Ready? Okay, and I am so relieved that I did not cut off my hinge peg there. So that doesn't look too bad. I'll clean that up. But, okay, we'll be right back. All right, the board that we're making for the back is finished. I've got my rabbets made. I have my grooves for the till, and these pegs will be carved around to fit into their corresponding cleats when the time comes. Now let's talk about the pieces for the till itself. I've got these thickness to their final thickness and cut to approximate size. This is the, got it mixed up here. This is the bottom. This is the front. And this is going to be the top. Now on the top, what I want to do is I want to put a little decorative bead along the edge here, just like I did on the first box I made. Let me show you that. This bead right here. Now that's a 3/16 of an inch bead, and it's a little bit small for the larger box that I'm making. So let me show you the plane I used to make that smaller 3/16 inch bead. It's a side bead plane, and it works great for this kind of thing. The only other plane I have to do that is this side bead plane, which is 5/16 of an inch, and that's a little bit too big. So I've got to get something in the middle, and here is what I came up with. I got this scratch stock, a metal scratch stock from Lee Valley, and it's got a fence on it and a variety of cutters in different sizes, and this will make the 1/4 inch bead that I'm looking for. So let me show you the collection of bead edges here. Here is the first bead, this top one right here. That's the first bead, it's too small. And then here is the 5/16 bead. That's the one that's a little bit too big. But right in the middle, I'm going to swing this around, this works. Right in the middle, that's this one right here. I'm pointing, see it?
Yes.
Okay. That's the bead we're shooting for.
Okay.
And that's the one that my scratch stock will be able to make. So we're going to get set up and make the bead. All right, getting set up here. Now, whenever you're working with smaller boards like this and clamping them to your bench, there's a challenge there because the clamps can get in the way. So what I've done here is I've double back taped my lid board to this larger board, and now I can clamp it onto my bench top like that and have complete access for my scratch stock. So here we go. Now, you can see this cutter here. The instructions that come with the scratch stock say that you should mount this cutter so its curve right there is flush with the sole of the scratch stock, so it acts as a depth stop. But a very skillful woodworker named Derek Cohen says to extend it like this. And you get fewer jams that way. And he's absolutely right. It works much better. Now it means that you don't have a scratch stock depth stop, but you do, and I'll show you in just a minute what I mean. And here is my depth stop. When my pencil line is gone, I'm done. Okay, just about all that pencil mark is gone, and I'm going to leave it at that because I'm going to take it the rest of the way with a little bit of light sanding, and that's going to be perfect. So, very happy with that bead. It's working out pretty good. Okay, things are looking pretty good. And while you were away, I made one small modification to my bead. And let me show you here. This groove along here that defines the bead. That's called a quirk. And what I wanted to do is just widen that a little bit and make it a little bit more defined. So what I did was I took my rip saw and very gently ran it along my quirk and widened that groove just a little bit. And that's going to give me a better shadow line. I think that's going to look a lot better. Now I know what you're thinking. I cut into my bead as well, but we're going to fix that right now. Okay, a little sandpaper. There we go. All right, our bead is done. Very happy with this. It looks great. Now all I need to do later on is cut this to length, and then I'm going to saw the hinge pegs. But for now, it's ready to go. What we're going to do now is the top and bottom boards. Here's the bottom board here. It has a bevel along it. And the lid board, or top board, has a filleted roundover. So we're going to do the bottom board first. I've already made one cross grain bevel here a little tricky because you have tear out that can occur on the corners. So what I've done here is I've cut them back a little bit, and hopefully that'll reduce some of that tear out. We'll see how that goes. So if we're ready, here we go. Okay, I'm going to switch to my block plane here. Okay, whew, just about got it. But that turned out really well, and tear out was not a problem at all. So now we're going to move on and do the long grain bevels. Okay, I have the bevels for the bottom board done, the cross grain and the long grain. So that's looking just right. Happy with that. Now, for the lid is going to have filleted roundovers. And what I've done here is I've made the first of the shallow rabbets that I need to make that roundover. So I'm going to do the same thing over here with my router plane. Okay, that ain't going nowhere. Let's see. Yeah, this is set just about right. Okay, I've got the fence set and the depth set. Ready?
Okay.
So what I'm doing is I'm starting out freehanding it just to get the first little bit done, and then I'm relying on my fence for the final cut. And both of our end grain rabbits are done. And the first of the long grain rabbits is done as well. And now we're going to do the second one. Are we ready?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Well, that fought me all the way, but whew, we got there. Okay, I'll clean that up with my rabbit block, just that little corner spot right here. But we're looking good. All right, the roundovers are done and the lid looks great. Really happy with how that turned out. Now, I think I mentioned in the first show that I'm going to have some decorative chip carving done on the front of the box. I happen to know a very skillful woodworker named Clint. He lives in Suffolk, England. So I shipped the front of the box off to him. He's going to do the carving and send it back. When I get it, I'm going to put the box together and we're going to have our first look at this project. So, until then, thanks for stopping by and see you next time.
Wasn't that great?